1 year ago, I decided to do something that seemed almost impossible. Instead of planting a few flowers or growing vegetables in a small garden, I wanted to build a complete ecosystem from scratch. My goal wasn't just to create something beautiful, it was to see whether nature could balance itself if given the right conditions. I had no idea what would happen after a full year, but today I'm finally sharing the incredible results. When I started this project, the area was completely empty. There was nothing but dry soil, a few rocks, and lots of questions. Could plants survive together? Would insects arrive on their own? Could birds, frogs, and other wildlife eventually make this place their home? The only way to find out was to begin. The first step was preparing healthy soil. I mixed compost, natural fertilizers, fallen leaves, and organic material into the ground. Healthy soil is the foundation of every ecosystem because it supports billions of microorganisms that break down waste and recycle nutrients. Even though these tiny organisms are invisible, they are responsible for keeping the entire system alive. Next came the plants. Instead of choosing only colorful flowers, I selected a wide variety of species. Some grew tall and created shade. Others spread across the ground to prevent soil erosion. Flowering plants were included to attract bees, butterflies, and other pollinators. Small shrubs provided shelter for insects and birds, while native grasses created hiding places for tiny animals. Water was another important challenge. I built a small pond using natural stones and planted aquatic plants around it. The pond wasn't just for decoration. It became the center of the ecosystem, providing drinking water for birds and mammals while giving insects and amphibians a place to reproduce. During the first few weeks, nothing looked exciting. The plants were small, the pond was still, and the area felt almost lifeless. It was tempting to think the experiment had failed. But nature works slowly, and patience is one of the biggest lessons every gardener learns. After about 1 month, I noticed the first visitors. Tiny ants explored the soil. Spiders built delicate webs between the plants. Beetles appeared from seemingly nowhere. These creatures may not seem impressive, but they play essential roles by controlling pests and breaking down organic matter. Soon after, butterflies began visiting the flowers. Watching them move from bloom to bloom was exciting because it showed that pollination had started. Bees followed shortly afterward, collecting nectar while helping plants produce seeds for the next generation. As summer arrived, the transformation accelerated. The once empty ground became covered in green leaves. Flowers bloomed in different colors, attracting even more insects every day. Dragonflies hovered above the pond, mosquitoes became food for other insects, and life seemed to multiply almost overnight. One of the biggest surprises happened when frogs appeared near the pond. I never introduced them myself. They simply found the water naturally. Frogs are excellent indicators of environmental health because they are sensitive to pollution and poor water quality. Their arrival suggested the ecosystem was developing successfully. Birds soon discovered the area as well. At first they only stopped briefly to drink water. Eventually they stayed longer, feeding on insects, resting in shrubs, and even collecting small twigs for nesting. Hearing birds singing every morning completely changed the atmosphere. Of course, not everything went according to plan. Some plants died during periods of extreme heat. Heavy rain washed away part of the soil. A few pests damaged leaves, and weeds competed with young plants. Instead of using chemical pesticides, I relied on natural solutions. Ladybugs controlled aphids, spiders caught harmful insects, and healthy soil helped plants recover. One important lesson was that every species has a purpose. Even insects that seemed annoying became food for birds or spiders. Fallen leaves weren't waste, they became compost. Dead plants returned nutrients to the soil. Nothing in nature is truly useless. As autumn arrived, the colors changed dramatically. Leaves turned yellow, orange, and red before falling onto the ground. While many people see fallen leaves as something to clean away, they actually protect the soil, conserve moisture, and feed countless microorganisms during decomposition. Winter slowed everything down. Many plants stopped growing, insects became less active, and birds searched for extra food. At first glance the ecosystem looked quiet, but beneath the surface millions of microorganisms continued working inside the soil, preparing everything for spring. Then spring arrived, and the transformation was incredible. Plants that had appeared dead suddenly produced fresh green shoots. Flowers returned in greater numbers than before. Bees, butterflies, birds, frogs, and insects all came back, proving that the ecosystem had become self-sustaining. Looking around after one full year, it's almost impossible to believe this place was once empty. There are countless insects pollinating flowers, birds hunting insects, frogs controlling mosquito populations, and healthy plants producing oxygen while storing carbon. Every living thing depends on another in ways that are both simple and amazingly complex. This project also changed my understanding of nature. I learned that humans don't always need to control every detail. Sometimes our job is simply to create the right conditions and allow nature to do the rest. The balance develops gradually through countless small interactions happening every day. Another surprising discovery was how quickly wildlife responds when suitable habitat becomes available. Animals are constantly searching for food, water, shelter, and safe breeding areas. By providing these basic needs, even a small piece of land can become a thriving home for many species. Maintaining the ecosystem required surprisingly little work after the first few months. Instead of watering constantly or replacing plants, I focused on observing. Nature solved many problems without my intervention. Predators controlled pests, plants shaded the soil, and decomposers recycled nutrients naturally. Climate also played an important role. Heat waves, storms, droughts, and heavy rain all tested the ecosystem. Each challenge forced plants and animals to adapt. The diversity of species made the entire system more resilient because if one species struggled, others could continue performing essential functions. Perhaps the most rewarding part of this journey wasn't watching plants grow. It was witnessing relationships form between completely different organisms. Bees depended on flowers. Birds depended on insects. Frogs depended on clean water. Plants depended on fungi and microorganisms beneath the soil. Every connection strengthened the entire ecosystem. Many people believe only large forests or national parks matter for biodiversity. While these places are extremely important, even small ecosystems in backyards, schools, rooftops, or community gardens can support wildlife and improve the environment. Every small habitat becomes part of a much larger natural network. If you're thinking about building your own ecosystem, my advice is simple. Start with healthy soil. Choose native plants whenever possible. Include a water source if space allows. Avoid chemical pesticides. Most importantly, be patient. Nature doesn't work on human schedules, but the results are worth waiting for. After 1 year, this project became much more than an experiment. It became proof that life returns when we provide the right environment. What began as bare ground is now filled with color, movement, sounds, and countless living creatures working together